I suppose you could say things are going very well here at Ipswich and we are still unbeaten in the Championship. But this is quite surprising because our recent form and match performances have been well below par and we've had to grind out results on the pitch. So with this in mind, we have to think very carefully about the upcoming match against Bristol City, who might have started to recover a little bit of form themselves. It's going to be a tough one, I think, today. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Ipswich in the beginner's save. And this is a save in which we are just going to focus on things that you have to be able to do rather than things that you really don't need to do. And if you missed the opening episode, I would suggest that you go back to that for two reasons. One, you'll find an explanation of the things that you actually need to ignore, things that you don't necessarily need to do while you are learning the ropes and getting used to the game. Also, if you're fairly new to the game, this might be useful for you, because the second reason that you could go back to that original episode, even though it's a long episode, we are focusing really on what a manager, I think, is supposed to do, and that is to get results on the pitch, to bring success to the club. And although we are doing extremely well at the moment, we have had to grind out results. We've been making a lot of changes in game which have got results for us. Changes that had we not made, we might not be flying high as we are at the moment. In that first episode, you'll find examples of in-game management. In our opening 3 games, we had to make significant changes in order to get the results that we got. And you got a full explanation during the games of what we did and why. And so, as I said in that opening episode, this is not a save that is particularly easy. And although, as you can see, we are sitting nicely at the top of the league, we have played 12, won 11, drawn 1, and we are 6 points clear of Leeds. We have not lost yet. But our form, despite the fact that if we look at the schedule, you'd think that we are unbeatable. But in every game, we've had to grind out the results that we've been getting. You saw the games last time against Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton and Blackburn, all very difficult games, all having their own particular problems we had to solve. And then against Charlton, we managed to beat Charlton in the EFL Cup third round quite comfortably by 3-0. And then against Huddersfield, a very, very tough result we got there, 1-0 away at Huddersfield. It was a very tough game, and we only just managed to get that. Caden Jackson scoring just before half-time was just about enough. Against Hull, we also struggled, and we also just about managed to beat them. Caden Jackson again getting the goal in the 60th minute. And then against Preston, it looks more impressive than it was, and it took us a long time to take control of that game after they had gone ahead from a free kick. And then finally against Rotherham, when we looked quite comfortable, Rotherham equalised in the 70th minute. But we did manage to take control and scored 2 late goals, Harness and Jackson getting the goals for us in that game. And so we are unbeaten at the moment. But this game against Bristol City does give rise to concern. And one of the things that I have noticed is that our recent performances in the last 4 games have not been brilliant. And at one point during the last game against Rotherham, the entire defence suddenly altogether became complacent. And that was just before Rotherham equalised. The complacency continued, and so I am fairly concerned that complacency might become an issue as we go into this game against Bristol City. And I think I've got to the point now where I have to be thinking, I don't want to lose this game. Bristol City, who are currently in 9th in the table, they've had a pretty decent start, but their recent form has not been great. And if we look at their recent form, they have lost 4 of their previous 5 games. However, they have recovered slightly, and probably morale is up now, having beaten Coventry by 5-1. So this is not a gimme, this game against Bristol City. And I'm really of the mindset now, given how much knowledge I have of FM, that complacency will become an issue. And one of the upcoming games is probably a game that we are likely to lose. And away at Bristol City represents such a game. Identifying complacency creeping in is very important in this game, and it might prevent you from going into a bad run. So my aim going into this game against Bristol City is do not lose. In terms of our injuries, currently we do still have our 2 best players out. They are going to be out for a little while again yet, and Leif Davis is on the point of coming back though within the next few weeks. He had a dislocated shoulder. He is probably the most influential player that we have at the club, as well as Sam Morsey, who has broken his lower leg in pre-season. He's going to be out for another 6 weeks, 7 weeks or 8 weeks or so while he recovers from that broken leg. How it's going to affect his performances when he comes back, we are yet to see. The transfer window, as you know, was a complete mess, and there are still players who are due to come in and players who are due to come out. We have 2 forwards coming in January and beginning of February, so hopefully things will go well in terms of the transfer window. We also have a very good midfielder coming in, Lewis Travis, where we are particularly light at the moment, and this has affected the way we have set up the team, because midfield is not our strongest area. However, when we came in, the transfer window was already set up. Nothing we can do about this. We will have to deal with these issues as and when they arrive in January and February. And we do have a problem with one of our players. George Hurst, who has not been in the best of form. He is a striker. He's unhappy about his playing time, and he's caused a little bit of an upset. I didn't deal with it particularly well during the meeting that I had with him, but I have to stick to my guns. Caden Jackson is playing very well. He is not playing very well. I think that Caden Jackson is my main man up top at the moment, and so we'll have to see how that develops. He wants to be sold. I've transfer listed him. He's worth a little bit of money, and if we can get some money in the transfer window, he's worth 4.1 million. If we can get a little bit of money in for him in the transfer window, that might ease some of the problems that we have in terms of our finances. We are slightly over on the wage budget, and we don't have much transfer budget to deal with. If we can sell him and get some money in for him, then we can probably replace him and make adjustments somewhere else, particularly in midfield. And so hopefully things will work out. But at the moment we are flying high, and we do have to play this game against Bristol City, and we should be beating Bristol City, but I do have concerns. Before we go to the game, if you are brand new to the channel and you like FM content, and particularly if you are new or fairly unfamiliar with the game, then this is the save for you. So why not hit that subscribe button, click the bell, so you'll be updated when future videos in this series are uploaded and future tutorials are uploaded. And while you're there, hit the like button, because it's likes and comments that help the YouTube algorithm to push the videos out to people who've not yet had a chance to see our videos. And so let's have a quick look at how we might prepare for this game away at Bristol City. So in terms of a game plan, the first thing that is in my mind, as I've mentioned, is that complacency is creeping in, and it's a game that I don't want to lose. A draw will be fine. I'll be quite happy with a draw away at Bristol City, a team who've not been in great form but are recovering. I just don't want to lose this game. I know FM too well, and after a period where we've been winning without any problems, when complacency seems to be slipping in, this is a game that's quite dangerous, so I don't want to lose. And so I think this game is worth taking a look at. Bristol City are worth just a quick look. So we'll go to the data hub and we'll go to next opponent, and we'll find out that they play in a tiki-taka style. Tiki-taka is an emphasis on short passing, extreme pressing and movement, suggests that they have good off-the-ball movement up top and in midfield. They will wait. They'll play a patient game. They'll wait for space to open up, and also they'll wait for our defenders to lose focus. So therefore I want my defenders to have a really good concentration attribute. In terms of their key players, one of them is their left back, Pring. I know him from old saves. He's a very good championship fullback. He's going to play as an inverted wing back, which means he's going to come into midfield, probably to cover for Roberts, who's going to be playing as a volante on attack, and he's going to be making a lot of forward runs. So we probably need to be keeping a close eye on Roberts. Also, I watched back one of their last games, and Knight, playing as an advanced playmaker, he seemed to be involved in a lot of the moves that were going on, particularly down the right-hand side. So he might be one player who might also be worth keeping an eye on and taking out of the game. Even from the beginning of the game, it might be a good idea to type mark both of those and make sure that their influence on the game is not as great as it could be. Also, one thing that jumps out as well is crossing. And although they don't cross too often, their crossing does tend to be fairly accurate when they do cross the ball. But we can just go and check on that before we set up our final game plan. So they are recovering in form. 2 players to look out for would be Roberts and Knight. Pring will be worth keeping an eye on, and definitely down the right is probably where they're going to create most of their opportunities. moving on to the next screen that I just quickly want to take a look at is the scout report. There's an emphasis on set piece. They do create and do well from set pieces at the moment, but they are not especially blessed with regard to crossing. So a low block might be an option if they are not great at crossing. We can also check the wingers and the fullbacks in terms of their crossing before we decide on that. We also know that they're not the best team in terms of long shots, and so that might give us some sort of clue as to where to place our defensive line. And then going on to the analyst report, and this is a very important page, and we can see that the goals that they score, mostly 60% of them come from the penalty area centre, and 1 in 4 of the assists for those goals have come from crosses. And so we do really need to be careful about crossing. So playing with a low block might not be a great idea. And looking for the goals from shots in the penalty area, they have scored from 4 of 13 shots. It's not really that high a ratio. If it was a little bit higher, I'd be worried. But I think it generally would be a good idea to keep them out of our penalty area, because most of the goals have come from inside the penalty area, and we've already found out that long shots is not a particularly good thing for them. So keeping them out of the area with a high line would probably be a good idea, especially as the next box says that in terms of touches in the opponent's penalty area, they are getting a good number of touches. We need to keep them out of our penalty area if possible. In terms of their goals conceded, 100% of the goals conceded, they haven't conceded many, have been scored from positions close to the penalty spot. And they do allow the opponents a lot of touches in their penalty area, so working the ball into the box seems like a good idea. And so we are getting a little bit of an idea about Bristol City. And the final thing that I will do is that I will go to the Bristol City scouting report, and I will just have a look at a couple of these reports. And if we look at the scout report, we can see that they have a good work rate. They're a good tackling team. They have 1 or 2 players who are in form. Harry Cornick, the forward, is in good form at the moment. We do know that we have to keep an eye on Knight, and we'll need to keep an eye on Roberts in midfield. So 3 players that we have to keep an eye on. But in terms of their weaknesses, my analyst is saying that their crossing is not very good. Long shots are not very good. They are also, looking down this list, their finishing is not great. Decisions is poor. They have no strength, and their balance, bravery, composure is also poor. They also lack acceleration and pace. And so I think we have enough information to go and set up the team now. And so looking at the tactic and looking at my main concern, which is composure, I have decided this probably isn't the best game to rotate. And what I need to focus on is players who have good concentration at the back and who have good determination. Determination is a factor if you go a goal behind. Determined players are more likely to try and rescue the situation from there. So I'm looking at my defenders. Clark has concentration 12 and determination 14. Wolfenden, he has concentration 13, determination 12. Burgess, concentration 13, determination 14. And Brandon Williams on the other side, he has concentration of 11 and determination 16. That's about as good as I can get for my defenders. Luongo in midfield, he also has concentration 13 and determination 14, which is pretty good. El Muzzini, he has concentration 12, determination 12. I did look at Humphreys, but he has concentration of only 11, determination 14. He is an option from the bench should one of these not be performing particularly well. In terms of the tactic, we are going to play in the way that we normally play. We're going to play with a higher line to try and keep them out of our penalty area. We're going to high press because we know that they lack things like concentration, anticipation, composure at the back, and so we're going to try and put pressure on them in their half of the field. It's a gamble. We are going to take that gamble because I think we are a stronger team than they are. And even though they are not brave and that they are not at the best physical side, I don't want to get stuck in because they are good from set pieces. And in transition, we're going to put pressure on them. We're going to counter-press, counter, get in their face and try and be as aggressive as we possibly can. We are not the greatest passing team in the world, so we're going to have a passing directness of standard. We're going to try and bypass the midfield if we can and get the ball from back to front as quickly as possible and use a higher tempo in order to do that. We're going to play with an attacking width to give our boys some space on the flanks to try and get crosses in ourselves. But we will be focusing the ball down the flanks because I don't want to play through the middle where they are probably stronger than we are. Work the ball into the box we identified as a good idea because they allow a lot of touches inside their own penalty area. And we will dribble less because we're not the greatest dribbling team. We're going to start in a balanced mentality just to see how the game works out. Plan B would be to go into the low block. And the idea behind that would be to get as many bodies behind the ball as we possibly can. To try and prevent them coming down the middle and creating chances down the middle. And to focus them down the flanks into the less dangerous areas of the pitch. And knowing that they're not the greatest of crossers, I think we have enough at the back and enough height at the back in order to be able to deal with any crosses they put in. That's the game plan, and often the game plan will come to fruition and often it won't. I think it's time now. Let's go and play the game. Let's go and kick some balls. And so I did have a thought whilst I was getting ready to play the game. And what I've actually decided to do is just to focus play down the right. I did identify that as an area that we are stronger. And I think that's probably the right way to go about it. So now let's go to the fixtures. Let's go to the tactical meeting. And let's go and kick some balls. And let's get a good result here. Hit early crosses. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I'll bear it in mind. But I don't always apply the advice that he gives to me. So let's go, submit this team, and let's get ready for the game. The team meeting seems to have gone very, very well. Everybody looks happy. It's all green there, and that's what we want to see. Everybody seems to be up for this, and hopefully complacency isn't going to be an issue. I'm going to go quickly to the opposition instructions. I'm going to ask my assistant to have a look at the opposition and to make some recommendations. I don't do never press, so we're going to take that out. I identified Pring as a problem. I want to bring him inside, and so maybe, though, he has a poor right foot. So let's put him on his right foot. Let's make him uncomfortable. Hayden Roberts is someone that I do want to tight mark. I'm not sure that the wingers need tight marking at this stage, so we'll take those off. Nicky Wells, obviously, will need tight marking. He's in very, very good form. It does look to me like they are a very, very good team. And Jason Knight, he is already tight marked. And I think that's probably good enough to be going into the game. We did well in our last game, so I think I need to be saying that we need to be on our game, and I think I'm going to say this is a match we should be winning, and I think we should win it. I want them to be aware complacency is not in my mind. And so let's go ahead and let's go to the game. And I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Let's convert it to the TV and let's get on with this game. I do suspect they will try to come at us at the beginning of the game. We need to be as patient as they will be, and we need to pass better than that as well. But bad passing in the Championship is something you're going to see a lot of, and they are going to be very patient. They're passing it around, looking for space. He looked offside to me there, but the referee didn't give it. Yes, he did. He was given offside. I think we have to make sure that they are not getting into our penalty area. That's the reason for the high line. I am also concerned about their wingers and their wingers getting behind us like this, and we need to be very, very careful. Bristol City are taking the game to us at the moment. I did suspect this was not going to be an easy game, and I hope that our boys will settle down shortly. Bristol City have a corner, and they've taken a short corner, and we need to close them down, and which we have done, but we've given it away again. They're creating space on that right-hand side. It's a bit of an issue. There's an overload on that right-hand side. We did identify that they would attack down the right. We need to get hold of the ball and to start taking it away from the right-hand side if we possibly can. Again, it's a short corner. This is obviously something they've been working on and looking for a shooting opportunity. He's played it out wide again. They are looking to cross, but we've intercepted, done well. But it's going to come back at us, and at the moment we are not in the game yet. We need to get hold of the ball a little bit. We've only had a little bit of possession, but let's hope that we've ridden the storm for the first couple of minutes. And 5 minutes in, we've got to start playing our game. And that's a lovely pass out to Burns. Burns with the cross into the box. Let's get this ball into the box and let's worry them in the box. We want to press them hard. We want to play the game mostly in their half. I think they are going to be playing in a mid-block from what I was seeing from them previously. But let's hope that we get off to a good start. And there's a corner to the near post. Burns flicks it back. He looks, and it's a shot from Chaplin that goes over the crossbar. And we have had the first opportunity for ourselves, and it wasn't particularly impressive. And it's still 0-0 at the moment. 10 minutes are gone. We've come back into the game. It's always a good sign when the highlights are for us as Burgess. Burgess looks inside for Clark. Clark looks for Wolfenden. We need these boys not to be complacent in this game. Luongo finds Missouri back to Wolfenden. Clark, we are being fairly patient ourselves. I was hoping for a little bit more of a tempo to our game, but Clark is moving up down the right-hand flank and into the box, and there's a chance again, and it's headed out for another corner. And at last we are putting some pressure on Bristol City. We weathered the early storm that they put upon us, and now we are in control by the look of it, and we are creating chances, especially from set pieces. And I did think about getting in a new set piece coach. If you watched that first episode, I talked about getting a new set piece coach in as we fire another shot over the crossbar. This is not great. And I didn't need to, because we do have a set piece coach. He's actually got another job with the club. He's a performance analyst or a recruitment analyst. And he has actually got a part-time job with us as the set-piece coach, and he's got set pieces of 17. So we don't really need to change our set-piece coach because he's perfectly adequate. 17 is very, very good. So I'm expecting to see, as the season goes on, some nice set-piece moves develop, and we hopefully will score goals from set pieces. And we are the better team at the moment, but creatively we're not looking that great. And Bristol City are defending against us really quite comfortably. But we do have most of the ball now as Brandon Williams. He looks for Hutchison. Hutchison bursts down the left, but unfortunately he can't get past his man. That's a poor pass, though. If we can win that and get it back into the danger area, then we have a chance. Clark picks it up, looks for Burns. Burns over. He has a chance. It's into the box, and we have scored. And Caden Jackson has done it again. Get in. We are a goal up, and looks like we are going to keep our 100% record going. Well, it's not 100%. It's an unbeaten record. But we have only drawn one game. What an absolutely amazing start. We just need to keep doing what we're doing. It was poor in the Bristol City defence, and there's an example of their poor decision-making, poor composure and anticipation, and it created a mistake, and Caden Jackson buried that. He's not going to miss that from 2 yards out. We're a goal up. We just need to make sure we don't become complacent. And I'm going to keep an eye on my defenders down here. At the moment, they are composed, all of them. And so I don't want them to be complacent at all. But so far, so good. And it might be that complacency wasn't going to be an issue and that we're going to win this game comfortably. Who knows? But we are a goal up. We've been the better side at the moment. We're passing it around nicely. Hopefully missing out the midfield. We're not strong in midfield. And the standard passing seems to have been working all through this season. And Burns has got a chance again. And almost onto the foot of Caden Jackson. It remains 1-0. And it seems to me that focusing play down the right was possibly the right decision. That might be the one decision that we made that's made the difference. Again, we're in the box. Wolfenden, I don't know what he's doing out on the wing. Finds Hutchison, it's into the box again. It comes out all the way to Clark. What's he doing on the other flank? Clark, into the box, has a shot, and it's deflected for a corner. We are all over them at the moment, but I want more than one goal. We do have have a corner. Burns is going to fire in the corner to the near post again. It's headed, and it's headed clear. It comes out, and we're going to pick up the loose ball. Chaplin, who's been in good form, and he finds Williams. Williams looks for Wolfenden. Wolfenden has lost the ball. We need to pick up the loose ball. We do. Missouri has picked up the loose ball. He finds Burgess. Burgess, Williamson, Hutchinson. Back to Williams. Williams and Hutchinson exchanging passes. Can he get a cross in? Looks inside for Luwungu. Luwungu has a chance. It's back into the penalty area, and it's going to be cleared by Bristol City. It's all go in the Bristol City penalty area, but Bristol City are launching a counter-attack, and here they go through the middle, and that's where we wanted to avoid them playing through the middle. It's a poor pass. Hutchinson has got the ball, finds Chaplin. Chaplin with the ball over the top, and that's a foul, referee, and we have a free kick. And we are dominating this game. I want more from them. I want a second goal. I won't be happy until I get that second goal. 1-0 is never enough, and it's headed clear. It comes out to Clark. Clark looks to over the top for Burns. Burns has managed to keep that in, but he has been given offside. It's all Ipswich at the moment. Bristol City are really struggling with this, the way that we are playing against them, and they're not able to get attacks in themselves. Luwungu, who has picked the ball up, Williams puts it out because Hutchison has unfortunately picked up an injury, and possibly we are going to need to take him off. We'll just have a look. He's not being told that he needs to come off at this point, but it does seem to me he's not going to recover from that, and probably will need to come off. And I think we need to make that change sooner rather than later. I need to get some information on him, and that we'll go to the tactics screen in a moment to get some information on him. So Hutchinson's taken a knock and he wants to come off, so we are going to have to take him off, and we will bring on Broadhead for Hutchison. Broadhead, who's been in fine form. Hutchinson has just come in for today to get a game, and unfortunately he's got himself injured. But we do know that Broadhead has been in extremely good form. Bristol City, however, do have a corner. They are dangerous from set pieces. We do know that. They score a lot of goals from set pieces, but we need to keep pressing them. Keep them outside the box. Make them shoot from outside the box. That's a good tackle as Luwungu brings it forward. He finds Broadhead. Broadhead gets into trouble. Luwungu picks it up. The highlight comes to an end. It is 30 minutes gone. We've been much the better team, and we are a goal to the good. But one goal is never enough, and we need to keep focused. I'm going to tell the team to focus. It's very important now, because we do also know that Bristol City score goals between the 30th minute and the 45th. So they do need to focus. The team need to be on their game at this point in the game. So we'll tell them to focus. That's okay. We know their shooting from distance is not great. So we've done well to keep them shooting from long range. They have not had a shot on target yet. We've only had one on target, but we've scored from it. And there's another injury to Broadhead, is there? I've just brought him in, but Burns has got the ball into the box, and it's headed clear. It's going to go out for a throw-in on the left-hand side. Broadhead is obviously in some distress there, but he's taken a knock, but he's okay. I think he's going to be okay. He's just taken a knock and should be able to run that off. And hopefully he's going to be able to run that off, or I'm going to run our left wingers. But at the moment it's Bristol City 0, Ipswich 1. This is a game that I didn't want to lose. So far we're not losing it. It was a choice of playing defensively in the low block or going more attacking, trying to press them into their own half. And we've done the latter very well, and almost goes in. It was a great save by the goalkeeper. It's gone behind. It's still Bristol City 0, Ipswich 1, as we are coming up to the half-time whistle. Let's get a goal from this set piece before we go into the dressing room, and it's headed clear. Comes out to Chaplin, who heads it behind. It is half-time now, and we can go to the dressing room, and we will get some instructions going here. I think we're doing well, but we can definitely find another gear. And let's G them up. Keep going. You have the ability. Go and do what you do. And I am going to go back to my assistant and get him to check, although I do need to make a note of what we've got already. And Roberts, Knight and Nicky Wells are being tight marked. And that's just, I'm not quite sure what I did there. We'll ask the assistant to go through that again. Hayden Roberts, we need to. Sykes does not need tight marking. Jason Knight, Sam Bell does not need tight marking. Nicky Wells. And we don't do never press. So always, if you are leaving things like opposition instructions to your assistant, always go and ask him. And I'll probably ask him again after 80 minutes are done, 75, 80 minutes, depending on when they make their substitutions. We'll ask him again for what he thinks would be the best way in terms of opposition instructions. And so we need to get this ball forward. Let's not dilly-dally around there. That's not the idea. We want to get the ball forward as fast as we can. Broadhead looks inside. He finds Burgess. Burgess all the way across to Wolfenden. Wolfenden looks for support. The highlight comes to an end. We've been the better team, although it hasn't been one-way traffic, I don't think. And Bristol City have got an attacking threat about them. We do need to defend well. This game is not over by a long shot, and we just need to keep defending and do not get complacent. I'm really keeping an eye on how emotionally they are, and if I see complacency creeping in, and here they come down the wings again. This is always a problem when you're playing against team with wingers, but that's nicely done by Wolfenden. What I am going to do is I'm going to go to my player instructions, and I remember doing it. I do not want my fullbacks or wingbacks closing down too much, especially with teams who like to play it out wide. Stand off them, give them a little bit of ground, a little bit of space, and don't let them skip by you. Something that I'm very wary of in FM. If you can press too much, and the opposition will skip by you and create really good chances. We want to avoid that. So I don't have, when I'm playing against teams who play with wingers, I don't want them closing down too much. And that's been given offside. Bristol City's threat at the moment is not looking that great, but neither is ours. We've only had 5 shots ourselves, 2 on target. We've scored from 1. Our XG is 1.1. That's good enough for me. I'm just going to look quickly at who might be causing a problem in the Bristol City team. Cameron Pring has 1 key pass. There's really not much going on in terms of what they've done. Wes Burns has been our best player down the right-hand side. It was possibly the right idea to play down the right, to try and keep the ball away from the left-hand side of the field as much as possible, where they, I thought, looking at one of the games they played, were quite strong. So we've done a good job there, but here they come down the right, and we need to make sure he doesn't get this cross in. That's a lovely tackle by Brandon Williams. Goes out for a corner, though. We know they're deadly from set pieces. I think they've had 4 set pieces this season and scored from 3 of them. I think that's the ratio that we're looking at. They're deadly from set pieces, but we've defended that well. As I said, we've got enough height at the back to deal with crosses, and as long as we keep our nerve, keep playing properly, then we should do well, and we should come out victorious in this game. I might make some changes if the match momentum shifts, but now it's time to go and make some changes. And so I have made a couple of changes. Harry Clark has come off. He was getting very, very tired. We've replaced him with Donasian. And Connor Chaplin, who was also tiring, he's come off, been replaced by Harness. We've moved Jackson to the wing on attack here and brought on Hurst, and Wes Burns has come off. And we're going to leave it at that. I think that we're doing a good enough job. It's just get fresh legs on the pitch now. Let's keep defending well, and let's just keep them away from our penalty area. That is the big thing that I have to do. And in the box, they are a danger. and we need to make sure they're not in our penalty area getting chances. They will come at us, I think, and they looks like they are going to come at us a little bit. And as I said, they do look quite dangerous from set pieces. They're using that short corner quite a lot, and we're not defending it very well. But we are getting a man out there, and hopefully we'll defend this well. The ball into the box, and again, it's a very nice idea. We've defended it okay. We've pushed them out to the edge of the box, and they are looking to get a shot away from the edge of the box. We prevent that. Knight, though, is going to bring it forward. He's been stopped. Looks for support from Viner. They are going to look at... They are coming at us at the moment. It might be a time to go into a low block to get bodies behind the ball and hopefully see the game out. But there's still 20 minutes to go, so I'm reluctant at the moment to be doing that. That's well defended by Brandon Williams. I still have one substitution to make. I have got players who are getting tired. We might have to come off the press just to conserve a little bit of energy. And there's another long shot from outside the box. They are not known for their long shots. We knew that. And so we're prepared to give them those opportunities. At the moment, it's all Bristol City. They've got the match momentum back. I think I probably am going to change into the low block now, just to make sure that we see the game out. And Bristol City have another set piece near to our goal. It's a long throw, headed clear. We're doing well at the back, but there's always going to be this worry. And there is a chance, and again, they have created an opportunity. I am now going to go into the low block. Once this highlight is done, we'll go into the low block, and we will try to see the game out. And we can see Brandon Williams is tiring. That's not a good thing over on the left where they are quite strong. I know Luongo is tiring as well. It is time to do something about this. And so we have gone into a low block. We've also come off the counter press. We're getting players who are very, very tired. We're going to shorten our passing, slightly lower tempo, try to conserve energy now, and probably be a little bit more disciplined, and we've narrowed the width down a little bit. Time wasting a little bit. We do have Brandon Williams, who's extremely exhausted, as well as Luongo. And I guess, I have Dominic Ball, and Diassian can come on to this side. Dominic Ball can come on for Williams. Luongo is also very tired, and I think probably for him, I will just tell him to dribble less, take fewer risks. As he's tired, I don't want him taking risks, and I don't want him dribbling and using up excess energy. We just need to see this game out now. It's a long way from the finishing line. 78 minutes, 79 minutes. There's still 10, 15 minutes of this game left. Looking after Luongo is probably the most important thing that I can do. But he's got to just continue. And Bristol City are coming forward. They do have a chance, and they have put it wide. And we have survived somehow. And it's all Bristol City in terms of match momentum. I just need my boys to hold on now. To just pass it around and keep possession. Don't do anything silly. We don't need to score another goal as long as we keep them from scoring. That's a poor pass, though, and Bristol City looking to bring it forward again. But we've covered and we've cleared it up at the back. And we've defended well. I have to say our defending has been extremely good. Jackson passes back to Wolfenden, although this would not be the best time to make an error. Burgess finds Musrani to Wolfenden. And this is nice. This is just passing it around. Let's just keep the ball, pass it around. There is a chance on here. If Harness can find his man and Jackson is in space, he has a chance. Jackson into the box, and it's cleared. And it goes out for a corner. We can take a week over the corner. I don't mind how much you slow it down, boys. Let's just hold on to this. Bristol City have made a number of substitutions, so I'm just going to go to my assistant now on 80 minutes or so, and I'm going to ask him. Well, he's not going to be very helpful to me. It's greyed out, so I'm just going to have a quick look myself. And so I've made a couple of adjustments there from what I can see, and just hope now that we can see this game out. I am concerned that we have some very, very tired bodies on the pitch, and it might be that the counter-press system is probably not a good idea to be playing every 3 days. The players are getting tired, and here is Broadhead. He's done well, carrying a knock to keep himself fit here. And Harness has a chance, and it goes across the face of goal. And we have been given someone that's strayed offside. We've got an offside. And at the moment, we're doing okay. It's still 1-0 to Ipswich. It will keep our amazing run going if we can hold on to this. With just 6 minutes left to go now. I suspect that Bristol City will push up, and it might be a good idea to push my line back a little bit. If I start seeing that they're going to try to thread balls over the top or in between our defensive lines to the wingers, we've lost the ball there in midfield. That's not good. And I'm looking for diagonal balls, and I'm looking for balls over the top. And if that happens, we will push the line back a little bit. Just to make sure that they're not doing that. Knight has a beautiful pass, but unfortunately his striker couldn't pass it on. And time is moving on. We're getting into the last few minutes of the game. We are holding on here again, and this is the story of what has been happening. We are sort of grinding out results. There's something going on here that I'm not quite sure. Naismith is walking backwards for Bristol City. I'm not quite sure what is going on here. But it's okay, the clock is going on. I'm going to up the time wasting now much more. We're going to pass it even shorter, even lower. We're going to regroup now out of possession. Come off the trigger press a little bit. And I'm going to leave the line where it is. I'm happy that the line has performed its job. I'm just concerned about them trying to get balls behind the line, but it might not be too easy for them. And there's the low block doing its job. And how many players did we have behind the ball there? We are coming into the last 5 minutes of the game now. And just keep your head, keep your composure. It's another good save by my goalkeeper. And the referee is looking at something here, is he? It's going to be another corner for Bristol City. They're piling on the pressure now. We've headed it clear. And I'm not quite sure where he's going. He doesn't know where he's going himself. And that was Jackson, just went for a run around. Nowhere near the ball. And I think he was trying to mark someone out on the left, was he? So far, so good. We've kept them out. And we've ground out another result by the look of it. And we just need to just hump the ball forward now. Get it clear of our penalty area. We're still doing well. That Bristol City are still trying to come at us. But we're holding out now, and that's what I've asked the boys to do. We don't really want to be attacking. I'm going to go defensive now. We're going to try and shut the shop up completely. That's a lovely pass to the far post. It's headed clear. Can Broadhead make an interception here? We're closing down. The low block's doing its job. They're not able to get those shots away. I'm going to ask my wing back now to come back as a full back on support and just help out with defensive duties. Burgess now has the ball. Not the best pass. It should have gone wide. Let's get rid of it, goalkeeper. We don't want to be messing about here if at all possible, but we do look comfortable on the ball. Luongo, who's tired, I'm not too happy about him having the ball in central areas there without support. He does find Jackson. Jackson with a lovely pass to Harness. Harness looking inside, but he slowed it all down. Ball back to Ball. Ball, lovely pass. And there's Joyosian, who fires it over the crossbar. There's just a couple of minutes left for us to hold on. And can we hold on? We're still putting a press on by the look of it. And we're still trying, the team are still trying to stop them from passing the ball out. I think that's something I need to do. We don't want to stop that short distribution now. That will just simply drag players out of position. Better to get players behind the ball and defend properly. Lovely cross into the box that should be the goalkeeper's though. And Hlacti, our goalkeeper, makes the save. It's totally been Bristol City in the last few minutes. We're coming up to just 20 seconds to go. The man in space, he could have taken a shot there. He chose not to. They do have a header on goal. I'm hoping now that's it. I'm hoping we can see this game out. We are not playing very well. We're not doing enough in my book, but we are grinding out results, and this has been the story of the last 4 or 5 games, and it is full time. We have beaten Bristol City by 1-0. We are still on an amazing run. A win is a win, but we've got to do better, boys. And we have now moved 8 points clear of Leeds, who drew 0-0 at Stoke. And what an absolutely fabulous performance that was. And so there we are, our run goes on. And again, we had to make changes during the game. Another result that we've ground out of nothing, really. Bristol City at the end were the better team. I'm going to play through some games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll come back for the Millwall game. And hope that you had a good time as much as I did. We've got another victory. Our amazing run continues, and I hope we can keep this going. I hope that new players of the game got something out of it. How to make changes in-game, what I'm looking for, and why I make those changes. For me, it's been a great episode, and we are still on course. And so that's it for this episode. As I said, we'll be back for the Millwall game. All that remains to be said now is stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next time.